Yeah, hello guys. Welcome to another analysis for the week. That is, this analysis is going to be for the 8th of June to the 12th of June. Thank you very much for joining me, and we hope we have a good week this very week. Now, let's look at the analysis we did last week before we move on to this very week and look at what the markets probably would have for us. When you look at last week analysis, you realize that when we're doing the analysis, price was from this very entry zone, and we're looking at price being able to give us an entry around this area when it is able to break this particular level that we marked. And God being so good, we're able to have the break around this area that led to this possible entry that we took, just because for the week of last week, we were bearish and we're looking for more selling opportunities. Now, once we had this entry, our target or our first target was at this very level that we were targeting. And then our second target was for us to be able to get to 4245. That is, if price is able to break our first TP level, then we look for more selling opportunities in order for us to be able to get to 4245. So as you are seeing, during the midweek, we were able to also identify this entry for the midweek setup where price was able to break below this and then creating an entry criteria for us to be able to get an entry here. So we took this very one also, and we are targeting this very area just because price has been able to break this level for us. And so we look for more selling opportunities. So this is how our last week went. And I think we had a good week for last week. And if you have not joined my Telegram channel, please do so to join Sina Forest GH on Telegram. You can check my link from the profile on YouTube or the description below this very video, and you'll be able to get to the channel where I share trade setup for all of us to benefit from it after we've had the analysis. Now let's move on straight to this very week, and then we look at what price has for us. As price is still playing out our analysis, let's look at how to get possible entries for this very week. So for this week, let's start from the weekly time frame, and then we break it down. We do our multi-time frame analysis starting from the higher time frame. All right, so since last week, we established that the main trend is bullish, but currently price is giving us a retracement process here. And so we're following that retracement process. We also identified that because of the downtrend price is creating at the current zone, the high, the low, the lower high, lower low, and probably it went in for a lower high and now coming to create another lower low. We were looking at price targeting this week here, ensuring it fills up this week before probably deciding on the next direction. So when you look at it, you would see that price has given us a support level at this very point. We have a support level here. The price is likely to come touch, or our immediate support level that is found at this particular spot. So this happens to be our immediate support level. So we look at it at 4245. So that's the 4245 zone that we were looking at. Okay, so let me just edit it here. We have our 4245 zone. Okay, so this is the immediate support resistance level we are expecting price to tap. That is 4245. Once price is able to break that level below, then we look at price getting to 4985. That is where we'll be looking at price getting to 4985. Should price be able to break 4245, then our next target is going to be 3985, sorry. So we look at 3985. So that's what we'll be having. Okay. So now from the weekly, you have seen that price kept on giving us. We have a high point, a low point, lower high, lower low, lower high. We haven't had a lower low yet, so we are still what? Bearish. If we are bearish, where are the possible entries that we will be looking at? We would be looking at this very resistance level. We hope price would come back, tap into that level for us to be able to get more selling opportunities. So we'll be looking at price moving back into this weekly SNR level and then giving us confirmation to right price all the way into this our first target. If there is any possible entry around here, we tap in again to get to this second TP zone. So basically this week, this is what we are looking at. Since price has been able to break below this support point that we are having. This is the overall support level price has been able to break, indicating more selling opportunities. And then we have the internal structure break, which is this very level that price also broke to also let us know that we are having more selling opportunities. So all we wait for is for price to pull back into the zone, and then we get more selling opportunities. Now, if price is not able to pull back into this very zone that we are looking at, then probably it might use the daily or 4-hour SNR levels to be able to drop down. So let's look at what the daily would also have for us. But before then, if we are going to look for buying opportunities, then it means that we'll be looking for buying opportunities around 4245. Should we be able to get confirmation from there for possible buy opportunities? If not, then it means that should price be able to break above our support resistance level that we are having here, which is 4546 area, and then 4505 area. Once price is able to break above this zone, then we would be able to look for buying opportunities when price is able to break above this very zone that we have marked. And if we are looking for buying opportunities, where would be our target? We take this as our first target and our second target. And if price is finally able to break this, that's where we look for long-term buying opportunities. But currently, price is giving us selling opportunities. And so we focus on just the sell opportunities in order for us to continue selling. But we take notice of this very zone, 4545 or 4546 area and 4505 area in case price is able to break. And we will need a break of the weekly candle above this zone before we would turn bullish. So that is that for the weekly side. Now let's look at a possible reversal point, sorry, that we have on the daily that is likely to prevent price from getting to our main entry zone that we are having. So this is for the daily. Let's check if we'll be able to get some external levels for price. So when you look at it, a possible point that price might react from is going to be our 4375 zone. That is where possibly price might react from if it is not able to get to our main weekly buy zone. Remember, our main weekly buy zone is at this very point. Sorry, our main weekly sell point is at this very zone. But should price not be able to get there and start giving us confirmation around 4375, then it means that we will take ourselves from 4375 into 4245. And once price is able to break that level, we continue selling to the downside. That is to the possible 3985 zone for us to be able to get our final TP. So this area, we should keep an eye. A break above the 4375, we look for buying opportunities into our sell zone, and then we pick ourselves all the way to this our final TP, which is 4245. A break, then we continue to 3985. So this is basically our analysis for the week. That is this very week on the 8th to on the 12th of June 2026. You can join my channel, Sinaforex GH, on Telegram, and you can join my Telegram channel on Sinaforex GH, where I share my trade ideas and setup for the week, every day, possible entries for the day for all of us to benefit from it. Now let's continue and look for our possible entries. Now that we've been able to establish the point where price will be able to do the turnovers or the directions that price will be able to turn. As I keep saying, keep an eye on this level. Once we have a break of this particular zone, then we'll be looking for buying opportunities where we would take our first TP here, second TP here. A break above that zone, we look for more buying opportunities to the upside. But until then, what are the possible entries for us to look out for this very week after getting our main entry zone? So we go to the 4R to get those possible entries that we will be working with. So these are 4R charts. When we look at a 4R chart, we have a possible entry here. Okay, so we can have a possible entry here. And most of the times I always like the extreme entries because I do swing my trades. So I always want the extreme entries. But let's say we also have another entry at this zone, which has partly been tapped. This zone that we are having, you can see price tapped it last week to drop down, but it is also possible for price to use it back this very week, since in SNR trading, price can use the entry 2 times. On the third occasion, you just have to watch out for more confirmations before you will be able to use it. Now, this entry point has been tapped by the 4R, but when we go to the weekly, you would realize that on the weekly, we don't have price touch there, and it is a weekly zone, or that entry we are seeing here is an entry for the weekly, just because we are expecting price to tap into that zone and drop. So on the weekly, it's a fresh zone that is very good for us to take our entry. So with the 4R tap, it doesn't spoil anything. We can still take our trade from that very zone. So here we would be looking at taking our trade from this very entry. So this is going to be the 2 entries we'll be looking out for this very week should price get to these areas. And as I said, a break above this extreme zone, then we look for buying opportunities to the upside, targeting the first and TP area that I've talked about. Now, if price is not able to get there, as I said, we look at price at this level. So there is also an entry zone around this area that we would be able to look at. This is a flip zone. It was a buy zone for us to be able to look for buying opportunities. And if you would remember last week, we had a buy zone here. And this particular buy zone, I was saying that should price be able to respect the midweek sell zone that we were having here, we're having a midweek sell zone here. Should price be able to give us confirmation for the sells, then it means that this very buy zone, I will not be paying attention to it when price is dropping. Because once price breaks this level, there stand a chance that this level would also be broken. So that was why we did not pay attention to that very side. So that side that has been broken was an indication for us that price is going down more. And so now, since this level was broken, it can also be used for a resistance level. So if price pulls back, this can be a possible entry for us to sell from to our first target any sell entry, and then we continue down to our final target, which is 3985. So basically, these are the entries we are looking at. In the course of the week, if there is any other entry, I would share it for all of us to benefit from it. But until now, we just pay attention to these two extreme entries and this very immediate entry should price be able to get there. But just note, this is our main boundary for possible buys should price break above, and then it is our main swing sell point should price be able to get there. We can hold it for a long time till price get to 3985. Thank you very much for watching the video. And if you have not subscribed to the channel, do well to subscribe. Like the video if you like it. If there is any comment, drop it and I would be able to answer your questions for you. Also remember to share to your friends and also join my Telegram channel, link in the description below or from the profile picture in the YouTube, on my YouTube channel. Telegram channel, Sina Forest GH. Thank you and have a blessed week.